Well, on Mother's Day afternoon, we got a couple surprises at MoDOT, and we need to inform everybody because these surprises are definitely going to impact Monday morning rush hour. So first, around 2:30 this afternoon, we had a collapse of a storm grate on westbound I-44. That section of Interstate 44 is now reduced to one lane. Again, that's westbound I-44, that's near Grand. We're going to get into a few details. Second, around 4 o'clock this afternoon, as part of a routine bridge inspection, our bridge inspection crews found emergency bridge problems on westbound I-255, that is the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. That section of Interstate 255 is being closed as we speak, so it will be closed by 7 p.m. this evening. So first I want to dive into the bridge inspection. You might say, what's going on there? That's a complete closure of westbound I-255 from Illinois into Missouri. So I have with us Joe Molinaro, MoDOT's bridge engineer for the St. Louis region. I want Joe to dive into a few details with you, what they found and the next steps for the bridge.
So this afternoon, during part of the routine bridge inspection, the inspectors found cracks in some of the steel members of the truss part of the river bridge that goes over the Mississippi River. These are considered critical inspection findings that we want to make sure that we have the full extent of the problem, and for the safety of the public, we are closing the lanes on the bridge to keep traffic off of the bridge until we have the full extent of of how bad the cracks are and what kind of repairs we need to start designing and proceeding with, either by our internal forces or if we need to have an emergency contract.
So again, the bridge inspection crews late this afternoon found these emergency problems on the westbound I-255 Jefferson Barracks Bridge. MoDOT, in order to keep everyone safe, has had to make a very tough decision to close westbound I-255. It will remain closed until the bridge inspection crews and MoDOT can come up with a plan of correction. So I cannot tell anyone right now. All I can say for sure is it's going to be closed tomorrow morning. We know that. So everybody needs a plan around that. I want to get into a little bit of details on I-44. So this afternoon at 2:30 on I-44 westbound near Grand, there was a collapse of a storm grate. So that caused us to immediately have to close one of two lanes. This is one of the many sections of I-44 that's under construction. We already had the lanes reduced to 2 lanes, and now we only have 1. What I can tell you right now is we will not be able to get those repairs done before morning rush hour, so that 1 lane westbound is all we will have tomorrow morning during rush hour. So with both these combined, we are working with Illinois DOT. We've been on the phone this afternoon and this evening with them. They're putting out lots of message boards and everything to tell everybody that's traveling westbound in the morning to stay away from I-255, Jefferson Barracks Bridge. And they're also helping us communicate that as you come across the Poplar Street Bridge or as you come into Missouri westbound, definitely you don't want to take I-44 from 55 to Grand unless you have to. We have a lot of good interstates in the St. Louis region that can help you get around the I-44 closure. We have a very good street grid system to get you around the I-44 single lane westbound. I-255, our recommendation is to use the other interstate crossings. So as I go north, you would use Poplar Street Bridge. You can take Illinois 3 to get up to Poplar Street Bridge. Go further north, MLK remains closed. Right, that's under construction. Illinois DOT has that under construction, so you're going to have to go further north to Stan Musial Bridge, Interstate 70 Stan Musial Bridge. We still see plenty of capacity on that bridge, relatively new bridge for us. And then further north, you have Chain of Rocks Bridge, I-270 in North St. Louis County. So I guess I'll pause and let you guys ask questions.
A couple questions. Okay, so how are you guys going to communicate with the people that may not be watching the news tonight? You mentioned message boards. What are people going to see when they get out there tomorrow morning and do have probably only given themselves 15, 20 minutes to get to work, and this might add an hour plus?
Well, we're talking to you, and we appreciate you being here, helping tell that story. We hope that you utilize social media. We're utilizing social media. We're doing a lot of different things to try to get that message out there. But yeah, that's my biggest concern is somebody doesn't hear the message. What I want everyone to understand, especially those citizens that live in Illinois and drive into Missouri in the morning to come to work or come to school, that Interstate 255 Jefferson Barracks is closed and will remain closed tomorrow. And westbound I-44 at Grant is basically closed. We're only going to have one lane open.
Any idea what the traffic is in the morning in that rush hour commute on that westbound lane of 255? Any idea how many people we've got crossing over?
I'm thinking a little less than 100,000, around 100,000 probably.
Okay. And then the 44 bridge, from where to where?
The 44.
44 bridge. From
Yeah.
44, where is it close to?
So it's reduced to one lane basically at Grant.
At Grand.
But really, I mean, we expect with the traffic volumes that we normally see there, that if you want to get on 44 from 55, where it splits off 55 to Grand, I would try to avoid that section of I-44 westbound from 55 to Grand.
And can you explain, when you say a great failure, I think most people probably are having a tough time picturing what that means. Why is it is it a really large grate? Can you describe what it is and why it takes longer than just plopping it back on?
Yeah, so this is a storm grate, so it's a grate in the pavement that is there for when it's raining for all the water to go into it, which goes into pipes. That grate is made out of metal, and that metal collapsed on us today. Traffic has been driving over this grate during the switch of traffic of work zone, and again, that grate that holds the traffic up above the storm pipe collapsed today.
Is it due to construction, the collapse?
It's probably just due to a lot of heavy traffic that caused the storm grate to fatigue enough that it failed on us.
Tom, can you detail again what happened with the JV bridge there? What you guys saw, what the bridge inspector saw?
I'll let Joe take that one.
Sure.
Explain what a truss is. You said truss.
And also, it's a Sunday. Is this something that they would be out inspecting on Sunday, anyway? Or?
So this is a normal routine bridge inspection. Our bridge inspections are done at least every 2 years on every bridge in the state of Missouri. And we hired a consultant to help us do this inspection this year just because of workload. And we had some available work hours where there was less traffic over the weekend versus during the normal weekdays. So to give them a better window of getting work done, they were out there this weekend doing part of the inspection work when they found cracks in parts of the steel that connect and support the weight of the bridge and traffic. I said truss. It's the main part that goes over the river. So you see the arches that you kind of drive through on that river bridge. It's the steel beams that are connecting those arches that you see that go over you. That's where they found the cracks. So due to the nature of those cracks and the locations, that's what we consider a critical finding that we need to make sure that we have the full extent of what the problem is, and that way we can appropriately repair it and keep the bridge safe and then reopen it back to traffic.
How old is that bridge?
The bridge was built in 1985.
Are you talking about the trusses, the arches themselves, or in the roadbed?
What is cracked is the steel beam that is below the roadbed. It connects those arches that you see as you drive through.
Just to be clear, it's being shut down because it's not safe, or it's being shut down so you can assess and make more repairs? Or
It's both. It's both. Because of the nature of the crack, and we don't want the crack to get worse, we're keeping traffic off of it now. We don't want any bigger problems arising until we can fully get the extent of the problem.
Why just westbound? Why not? Is it not?
Those are separate bridges. Eastbound and westbound are separate bridges. So the only problem we have found right now is on the westbound bridge that made us want to close that structure. We've been actually inspecting both directions. Right now we have not found any significant problems on the eastbound bridge, so the eastbound direction of traffic is still open.
How big of a crack is it?
It's too preliminary right now to determine. They're doing testing, and they're still doing some testing to kind of get the full scale of the problem.
Obviously, Illinois drivers and those going to and from Illinois to Missouri are kind of having a tough time with the bridges and the construction. I mean, what can you say to drivers about what you and IDOT are trying to do to ensure that they can get back and forth between our two states to make it easier? Because it feels like a pretty big headache for them right now.
Well, I mean, you want to go ahead?
Take a stab at
I
it.
mean, on the construction side of it, I mean, it's important that we're doing a lot of this construction work to keep our bridges in good enough shape and safe for the motorists. So that's why we have a lot of construction going on out there. And we also do, like I said, these routine inspections on all of our bridges every 2 years. So this is what we're here to do, and make sure that the bridges stay safe so that they can stay open. So I understand it's an inconvenience to a lot of the public right now with what we're having to do, but if we didn't do what we're doing, we could have worse problems.
And I would just add to that, I would say bridges and roads wear out. And so these are signs of what you're seeing. The good news is that we have projects in these areas. So we do have a project coming up on I-255 that is funded. It's not under construction now. We, as everyone knows, on I-44 have most of I-44 under construction, and we're rebuilding much of I-44. So that is sort of what our job is to do, is to keep the roads and the bridges safe and passable. And unfortunately, sometimes they wear out a little faster and surprise us, and we have to make the tough decision to close lanes or to close entire interstates.
You mentioned funding. Depending on the scope of the damage or the scale of repairs to 255, I mean, what does that look like with funding? We all know MoDOT isn't, got a ton of funding available, so what could that look like?
Well, it's, again, too early to tell for sure on Jefferson Barracks what the funding impact would be. This is deemed an emergency. I mean, closure of an interstate is not something that we take lightly. We understand this has major impacts. We will be prepared to move projects, slide projects around, and make money available to make whatever necessary repairs are needed to Jefferson Barracks Bridge to get it open as quickly as we possibly can. But we will not open it until it is deemed safe.
And you just have no idea at this point how long it could stay closed?
At this point, we don't. We only learned about this at 4 o'clock this afternoon on Mother's Day as part of that routine bridge inspection. So I know our team is going to work very diligently to try to really fully define the problem and come up with the quick repairs as we can. I'm not worried on this one really about the funding. Again, we will move projects around if we need to delay other projects to have the money to make these repairs.
Do you know how long the grate fixture on 44 will take?
I don't expect it will take as long as with the bridge inspectors. Our contractor has to be able to actually get the grate, and they have to fabricate that particular grate. So they have already been making all the phone calls this afternoon. All I can say right now is they will not get that repair done before Monday morning rush hour. My goal, I would hope, is to have it open by Tuesday morning rush hour. So I would like to see I-44 westbound at Grand reopened by Tuesday morning. That's the challenge I put out to the team. We'll see if they can deliver. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys for sharing the message.